Welcome to the ECE Classroom Podcast with your host, Susie Begin, inspiring early childhood educators every day. Welcome to the ECE Classroom, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of early childhood education, parenting tips, and creative learning strategies. I'm your host, Susie Begin. And today's episode is a little different, and it's very special to me. For the March episode, I'm participating in the Podcasthon, and it's a program to bring awareness to a charity that is close to my heart. So as educators, parents, and leaders, we often talk about shaping the next generation, but what about the impact we can make right in our own communities? In this episode, I'm sitting down with Christine Hall, the founder of 100 Women Mississauga. It's a powerful local initiative that brings women together to make an immediate, tangible difference in the community. This organization is close to my heart because it reminds us that when women gather with purpose, with generosity, and with intention, incredible things happen. Whether you're an educator, a parent, or a business owner, or someone who simply wants to give back, I hope today's conversation inspires you to see how small actions multiplied together can create real change. So let's get started. Welcome to the show, Christine, and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today, Susie. I'm really excited to share. And March is a fresh new month, and it's International Women's Day week coming up. So again, thanks for having me on. I started my career as an IT training consultant and with the love of helping others. It's always what I wanted to do. You've probably seen this. Parents have these books for kids, year 1, year 2, year 3. So my mom started collecting one for me when I was in age 6, and it said I wanted to be a teacher. And so that's kind of what I've done. I've morphed into adult education. Through my career as an IT training consultant, I started to work with women, a lot of female entrepreneurs, women who were either being downsized and right-sized out of their careers, their jobs, and then starting a business based on their passion project, or women who are leaving the home after raising their children for 15 or more years and getting back into the workplace. So I started working with these women, helping them market their business through social media. So I was teaching Facebook and Instagram and Canva and LinkedIn, tools that you would use in the online world. And I'm still doing that today. So my business is called Christine Hall and Associates. And I do one-to-one training with women. So it's lots of fun. It's very exciting. It keeps me busy. That's one thing. The other thing is I do run a women's networking group. So I help women connect by hosting networking events, continuing education events, online networking events. Yes.
So I can attest to everything you're saying. I have been to your trainings. You taught me a lot about ChatGPT and other things. And I've also participated in your women's networking. So thanks for all the things that you do that inspire and help women to, achieve their goals. So today we're specifically talking about the charity 100 Women Mississauga. So tell me, what inspired you to start 100 Women Mississauga? Because I know you are the founder.
Okay, so the networking group that I run, we've always done like ad hoc fundraisers. We donated 50 filled Mother's Day gift bags to a women's shelter. Maybe you participated in some of these, Susie. We did 90 backpacks filled with school supplies one September. And then we did 300 stockings for children. So through all of these opportunities where we did fundraising and giving back, it felt so great. It felt so awesome. But they were ad hoc. And I wanted to do something more structured. I wanted to kind of have a formula or a format that fit into my life. And I was looking to align with an organization or a charity where I could kind of lend my skills and services of social media, leadership. I have an ability to mobilize people, and I just kind of wanted to make a bigger impact in our city. So after interviewing a few charities, I didn't quite feel one that fit. And one of my clients was with 100 Women Who Care in Caledon. So I was just doing a little bit of research on that model. And I was like, this is it. This is a community group for women who want to give back, but who are stretched for time. It didn't require you to be out every week doing any, hands-on work. It didn't require us to have bake sales and things like that. I'll explain the model in a moment, but that's how it came about. I interviewed a few and I found the one that really felt right to me. So then I was looking for the Mississauga chapter, and there wasn't one. Just to give you a little bit of history, 100 Women Who Care is a model, a global model, and or I should say a global movement, really. And it is, there are about 700 chapters worldwide, and not just women, 100 men, 100 kids. Toronto just has a big one that opened up called 100 People in IT Who Care. I was just on the forum yesterday, and someone is in a very small northeastern town of the US, and he's starting 100 guys who give a damn. So there's all different kinds. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're local, like Susie and I are in Mississauga, there are so many wonderful chapters depending on where you live. So you'd want to kind of fit or belong to a chapter in your city.
Yeah,
I hope
that's
that answers your
amazing.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's giving me ideas. I'm thinking, should I start one that's called 100 ECEs Who Care?
Oh my gosh.
Modeling on the IT people.
That's a great idea, because then, of course, all the charities that, presumably the charities that get nominated from your members will be all focused on, child rearing, education, preschool. Yeah. Awesome.
That gave me that idea. But I'm not quite there yet. So tell our listeners, if they've never heard of 100 Women or 100 anything, how does it work? What's the model? Explain how that works. How does my participation go to helping the charity?
Absolutely. So the model is very simple, and that's what I love about it. It's 100 women or men or kids or ECE, 100 gather 3 times per year. Well, sorry, I should say our chapter does 3 times per year. Most of the chapters do 4, but I like to have the summer off. So our chapter gathers 3 times per year during these, and they're called giving circles. So during these giving circle meetings, which are just 1 hour, we actually hear from 3 local charities that have an immediate need. We hear from them. And then what happens? They each get 5 minutes, and that's it. No fancy presentations. We hear from them, we have a little Q&A, and then we get voting cards. So each member then gets a voting card, and they can decide who they feel should go home with our collective donation that night. So it's 100 women for 1 hour, each of us donating $100. So it's $10,000 in a collective donation in a 1 hour meeting. And we do that 3 times per year. So how it's so impactful is it's immediate. These charities come in, they present for 5 minutes. They don't have to fill out great big funding documentation. They don't have to wait for months to find out if they're getting a grant. They come in, they present, they tell us exactly what they need. And within an hour, they're walking out with, usually that night, because we do online donations, they usually walk out with about $7,000. And then it takes a little while to collect the rest, but it's $10,000. And I should just, a little asterisk there, based on the number of members in your charity. So our chapter. Our chapter has 150 members. So our donations are actually $15,000. So they're coming in for a 5-minute pitch, and they could be walking out with $15,000 donation. And it's not just that. There's so much awareness that they get by, we share in our email distribution, we share on our social media channels. All of the members learn about the charity. And I love that some of our members have actually gone on to work with these charities on a regular basis or a special kind of project or assignment. So it's really great exposure for them.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can say that, participating in these giving circles, I always learn about different charities. Mm-hmm. So I know that there's many charities that get nominated, but then only 3 get to present at the actual meeting. But even those 3 charities, what I found is that I learn so much about different charities. And then even if one happens to win that night, get the most votes, we all have to contribute to that one. But if you had another charity that you were also interested in, you could perhaps volunteer, or I've even donated to other charities that didn't win that night. And I know that others do the same, where, even just by presenting, they're getting their awareness out there. Mm-hmm. And women or whoever is participating might still donate to them because,
Absolutely.
yeah,
You know, we have sponsors. Sponsors are organizations that give us money in exchange for marketing. We don't have any revenue. 100% of our member donation goes directly to charity. We don't touch it. We don't see it. It goes from the member right to the charity itself. But we do have sponsors because there are some expenses, marketing expenses, room rentals. We host a very good evening for our members with food and wine. But what I was going to say is that 100 of the donation goes towards the charity, and people can certainly donate. In addition, like you said, Susie, you have, but I know that some of our sponsors have also donated to the second and third or the other charities that were there that night. One very generous sponsor gave 2,500 and 1,000 to the other charities.
that's
So
amazing.
many of them, yes, they may not walk away with a collective donation this giving circle or this meeting, but they're always going to get something from it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I like, what you mentioned was the fact that, 100% of your donation goes towards the charity. And I know
Mm-hmm.
that you also ask that they be specific as to what part
Mm-hmm.
they're going to invest that money into. So a particular program.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that, the full donation that we're giving is actually going to helping people and not necessarily to administrative expenses, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what's nice about the
We
model. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a very detailed vetting process. We have an amazing charities committee. Like there's 14 people right now on the steering team. And thank you, Susie, for being a founding steering team member. But there's 14 people and we all have a role and we have a committee that vets. So we have charity guidelines that they must adhere to. We vet that first nomination, which by the way, all our nominations come from our members. So we're very much a member driven group. So our nominations come from our members and we vet that. If you pass that first round of vetting, then you get an application. And then if you fill out the application, you have to pass that round of vetting. And then we put you on something called the Wheel of Names, where we spin a wheel and it's a random selection of the 3 that will present on the Giving Circle night.
That's
But
amazing.
once you're nominated, you can keep being renominated, Giving Circle quarter after quarter after quarter until,
Mm-hmm.
your time comes up and you get selected to present.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about maybe a story from a local
Mm.
charity that was impactful in a meaningful way. So somehow where our donation really did have an impact in the community. And just to go further on what you said, in the 100 Women Mississauga that we are part of, one of the criteria for the charity is that they must work locally in the city,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So we ensure that the money stays where we want it in our local community. So that's another nice part of the
Mm-hmm.
particular chapter that we belong to. Tell us about a heartwarming
Okay,
story,
Susie, I can
maybe.
tell you 14. I can tell you 14. We don't have time for that. But no, so we have since inception. So we launched in April of 2021. We've had 14 1-hour meetings. So 14 giving circles, which means 14 charities have been given our collective donation. I should also point out that since inception, we have donated collectively over $175,000, which is
Amazing.
amazing. I know some organizations might look at that and go, oh, I give that every year. But this is about individuals. This is about you and I having an impact. And when we talk about impact, I'll share my favorite story. And I have many, believe me, but my favorite is the food bank, the Compass Food Bank and Outreach down in South Mississauga. You might remember this one. Melinda came and did her presentation, and she was asking for immediate need to help. So this was in June, an immediate need to help fund their lunch program. Many of the families who use the food bank, their children attend school and get breakfast and or lunch. Well, during the summer, there's no school, there's no lunch program. So many of these parents were thinking, how am I going to do this? Am I going to pay my rent? Am I going to buy the groceries? How am I going to make sure the kids are fed a good, nutritious lunch? And so the Compass has a program that they run through the summer, and they were looking for funds. So at that time, we weren't quite 100 members yet. I think we donated $9,000 to that Compass charity. in June, and that was able to feed 300 children over the lunch in South
That's
Mississauga.
wonderful.
Isn't that great? Like, I
Yeah.
have so many stories. Like, that one was near and dear to my heart because, you know what? At the time, my boys, they were younger because that was 5 years ago. And I couldn't imagine them going to the fridge and it being empty. I couldn't imagine them opening the cupboards and there's nothing there and them being hungry. Now, don't get me wrong. Now they're teens. They eat everything. So my fridge is always empty. But my point is, I just, as a mom, it was, it was a no-brainer. It was like, that's my vote.
Yeah.
And the other women in our membership felt the same. So they got the most votes. They went home with the collective donation for that giving circle.
That is an amazing program. And you know what I love about this is that it's so specific.
Yeah.
Like it's so specific, going to something that really does make a difference in people's everyday lives. Like you said, the child is having a lunch throughout the summer because of 100 women, right? That particular child living in Mississauga is having lunch and, you know, not opening that empty fridge. And who would know, right? Like, how could you possibly help that situation? But,
and
you know, because of 100
know.
women.
Now you don't know because families are struggling, right? It's so difficult. There's so many double income families who are working hard every day and you don't know. So it's
the cost of groceries is like horrendous. Even to working parents, I should say.
You asked about the impact, and the impact is immediate. The impact is now. So when we ask them to fill out the application, we want to know what they can use the money for now. And now means the next 3 to 6 months. We've had some charities who have said, oh, we're building a new 10-story housing development. So we need it for next year. Well, come back to us next year. So they wouldn't pass the vetting cycle, just as an example. Okay. Or charities who say, well, yeah, we kind of serve Olive Peel. We do Brampton and Caledon. I'm like, no, we're focused on Mississauga. So then we direct people to those other cities where they can join, or those charities can join those other chapters, just so you're aware. And then finally, we actually ask them for impact statements at 3, 6, and 9 months. We ask the charities to send us information about how our donation has impacted them. Now, sometimes we've had the charities come back and present, and other times we've had letters. You may have recently seen the letter from Everymind, Susie, that came out talking about the impact of our donation to them last November.
Yes. And I do know that these organizations do track KPIs, right? So they do track, you know, how the money has impacted the actual people who are intended to receive it. So that's amazing. What has been your most surprising outcome since launching? So what do you think has surprised you the most? Whether it's, you know, the community or the charities, what do you think has been your biggest aha moment?
You know, I'm a big proponent of community. I think it's because I've been a solopreneur for over 25 years. It gets lonely. I love people. But yeah, definitely it is linking arms with other women who want to make a difference. And the friendships and the bonds that have formed within I call it the community within the community. It's the 100 women within, you know, Mississauga. I don't say that's surprising, but I say that's been a ripple effect that's just been lovely and organic. Not only do we host 3 giving circle meetings per year, but we also host what we call meet and greet events where our members can get together over a glass of wine. We have some appetizers. We share what's going on, but it's just getting together and learning about each other and building that kind of sisterhood where people feel like not only are they contributing to charities, but they feel good about belonging to a community and having a friendship too.
Yeah, I absolutely love that part. You know, there's so many things I love about 100 Women, but I love the fact that you combine community with charitable giving. Like you're gathering together as a sisterhood, if you will, giving to something that is important to all of you. And I found that over the years participating in this organization, I find that the charity we end up giving to is one that I would choose, right? Yeah. So it always aligns with, you know, my ideals and my goals. Like if you belong to the 100, whatever, you know, in your community, make sure it aligns with what you believe in because you'll be giving to those charities that you really feel strongly about. Yeah.
Well, see, this is the great thing, Susie, is that as a member, you nominate. As a member, if you want to see a certain charity on the platform, then you nominate them. You talk to other members and have other members nominate them. Then they get multiple nominations, which means they could be on the circle more than once. So really, we are volunteer-led, but fully member-driven, which is, again, what I love. You're not just being directed around. You have the ability to be in the driver's seat. So,
Yeah. And I feel like as well, one of my I think the other benefits of belonging to this organization is that it's like a buffet where like if let's say you give to a charity, right? Or you belong to a charity and you give to them regularly, well, then it's the same charity every time.
yes.
But whereas with this, it's like you get to like influence many charities, right?
Yes,
Like 3
yes.
different charities every year that you're
Yes.
supporting. And it's like the buffet, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to stick to one. You can have several and really make a difference in each one.
Absolutely. And you know what? Our members are so amazing. We have always 40 plus nominations. For some charities get more than one, but this go round, we had 27 charities nominated with 40 nominations. So absolutely, even if that charity doesn't get selected, we share about the charities multiple times through email and social media to let everyone know the charity that have come up.
Well, I hope we've convinced some of our listeners to seek out a 100 something in their community. If somebody wanted to find out about 100 women in particular in their community, how would they go about doing that?
So there is something called the 100 Who Care Alliance. It is also a community group of leaders that lead or help chapters get started. They actually have a directory. So if a charity has entered their information into the directory, you can find it there. So as I said, there's over 700 worldwide. You can check there, or you could just Google 100 Who Care and then your city name.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, Christine. Any parting words for our listeners?
Yeah, I would say if you're feeling at a crossroads with your, what do I do with my life? Sometimes women, we feel that way as we're going through the different stages and phases. I would say try to put yourself out there and belong to or join a group. It could be a charitable group like this, or it could be curling, or it could be softball or pickleball. But yeah, it's just don't be home alone. Get out, get involved, seek fellowship, friendship, and whether it's work or business or social. I think everyone needs that, especially now in this crazy age we're in.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for being here. It's been such a
you.
pleasure. And thank you for all the work that you do. I know it's 100% volunteer for 100 women in Mississauga. Thank you again.
Thanks, Susie.
Thanks for tuning in to the ECE Classroom with Susie Begin. For more information, you can visit our website at www.susiebegin.com. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast so you can stay up to date on our latest episodes. Thanks for listening.